A drop of pond water is often inhabited by organisms large enough to see with your unaided eye. These tiny creatures are neither plant nor animal. They're protists, members of kingdom Protista. Many protists are a single cell, a cell with a nucleus and organelles, just like the cells of plants and animals. A jar of decaying aquatic vegetation will soon be swarming with protists. This video, along with the culture and key that accompany it, will help you identify and categorize the variety of protists. Sample material from the bottom where protists tend to settle. Examine your sample using the lowest magnification objective. After you've observed their behavior unrestrained, add a cover slip. Locate a particular subject and move to the next higher magnification to observe its structure. Now turn off the video and identify the protists in the culture. Try to discover what they eat. Look for structures and behaviors that aid in food capture and defense. When you have them all properly identified, go over the next section to check your work. The larger organism is Paramecium. It's about twice as long as a human hair is thick. The smaller cells belong to genus Colpidium. Colpidium is easy to recognize because it does a slow roll when swimming and has an obvious mouth on one side. Paramecium's outer surface is covered by rows of rapidly beating cilia, and so is the surface of Colpidium. Protists with cilia are called ciliates. There are thousands of kinds clustered on several main branches of the ciliate limb of the protist tree. Paramecium and Colpidium are covered by rows of short, even cilia. This characteristic places them on the same branch. But this ciliate has a different locomotor apparatus. In addition to free cilia, it has much thicker structures called cirri. Cirri help in locomotion and in the capture of food. The rose-colored protist, Bletherisma, also has a complex feeding structure. A row of cirri and membranelles that channel food organisms to its mouth. The largest cell in the culture is stentor, over 1 millimeter long when extended. This stentor has been eating the small green cells. Within a few hours, they'll stop wiggling and begin to digest. Stentor's elaborate food-trapping structures place it on the same branch with Euplotes and Bletherisma. This ciliate belongs to a third branch. It's called Vorticella. All of the members of this branch have a ring of cilia-stiffened membrane that winds counterclockwise around the cell mouth. Everywhere in the culture are small green protists that belong to the genus Euglena. Euglena has a single whip-like flagellum used for swimming. Protists with flagella are called flagellates. Most flagellates have a jerky swimming motion. This one, Chelomonas, has 2 short flagella. Paranema has a long, thick flagellum. We had no trouble locating it on the picture page accompanying the culture. The culture may also contain spherical organisms that spin through the water. Volvox is a colony composed of hundreds of flagellated cells. In the center of the colony are daughter colonies that will break out to become the next Volvox generation. So far we've examined microorganisms that belong on the ciliate and flagellate limbs of the protist tree. Another limb belongs to the amoebas. This tiny one shows a characteristic of all amoebas, the production of pseudopods, membranous projections that can be thrust out from the cell body. This one builds a shell and extends its pseudopods from an opening in the center. Although we didn't find any large amoebas in this drop, this is what they look like. This is amoeba Proteus. The protist tree also has a limb for algae. Collect a jar of green material from any roadside puddle and look for Spirogyra with its barrel-shaped cells bonded end to end. And one of the gems of the unicellular green algae, Cosmerium. The most abundant algal cells are diatoms, cells surrounded by glass. Diatoms come in all shapes and sizes. Some are even found in long chains. So in a pond water culture you can find representatives of 4 of the main branches of kingdom Protista: ciliates, flagellates, amoebas, and algal protists.